Good morning, Max. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Julien. How are you? How's Paris? I see you've got a couch behind you. Is there something on your mind you need to share?
They did it again.
No.
They just did it again. It's kind of a follow-up story I've got today. I'm saying kind of a follow-up story because it's not the same company, it's not the same context, but it's the same exact problem. I was watching one of our stories from last year, I believe. That was episode 88. It's not you. And that was a story about filtering online. I don't know if you remember that. That was a while ago, but that was about being able to use the right filters on a website to actually find the product that matters. We had an example was a washing machine where what I cared about was, is it going to move within the room? And I had no filter for that. We had a car rental company, not able to tell me how many seats they had in the car, which was the most important filter for me to come with my whole family.
Right.
And I mean, there were a bunch of examples, and they just did it again. So
what can't you find out this time?
So I'm just back from holiday, not a long time ago. So obviously, I'm planning for the next one. And my daughter happens to be a big fan of swimming pools. So I don't really care where I'm going. We're thinking about Christmas holidays, and we have 3 large locations in mind. One for convenience, one because it's beautiful, one because there's some type of activity we could be doing. I don't care which city I'm going to end up in. I have very few things I care about. The number of people that are part of my party, right? Because I need to be able to have a room and a bed for everyone. Makes sense. The budget. I have budget constraints, obviously. And these are filters I can find online, no problem. Whether I go on Airbnb, bookings.com, whatever it is I'm using. This basic stuff I have. But again, you're going to tell me I'm the weirdo here with specific needs. But I have a daughter who happens to love swimming pools, and I want to make sure that for Christmas, wherever I go, I want a swimming pool. Now, you're probably thinking, yeah, most websites have a swimming pool filter. But guess what? When you want to book for Christmas holidays, outdoor swimming pools are not really the best option when it's snowing out there. And none of them offers a basic option of indoor swimming pool. You sometimes have private versus public, which I don't care if there are another 50 people in the pool. But what I do care about is when it's minus 10 degrees Celsius out there, I want my swimming pool to be indoor, and there is no filter. So you just have to pick swimming pool and go through rounds and rounds of items and click on each
to find what you want.
Exactly. So I have to talk about filtering again today because that's just not working the way it should be working. So tell me, am I a weirdo yet again, or they still haven't fixed the whole filtering thing online since we last talked a year ago?
No, I think you're asking a hard question, though, or the level of filtering of indoor pool, outdoor pool. But that does seem, I don't know. I live in California where even at Christmas time, it might be cold, but it's not like, oh my God, no, you cannot go outside. I think that's a reasonable thing to be able to filter for. I also get why it's not, or I guess maybe the way it says I'm not shocked that you couldn't find that. But it does seem a right and fair thing to have. It's interesting. I talked the other day to somebody from one of the great big travel consolidators that we love to beat up on, and they're actually looking at AI-driven tour recommendations, something that they're going to do with generative AI very aggressively because you're suggesting. And if it suggests a hallucination, the guy's going to figure it out pretty quickly. That would probably solve this, because then you could say, I want places with indoor pools. But even then, will the database be flagged with that?
I love you say that because as I said, I was watching episode 88. It's not you, where you said this exact same thing. You were saying, and I'm obviously paraphrasing here. That's what chatbots are still going to suck for the next many years because even if you can now ask anything to a chatbot, and that was before ChatGPT and all of that, right?
Right.
Even if you could ask anything to a chatbot, if the database does not tell you which car has how many seats, the chatbot is not going to know any better. And here's the same thing with AI nowadays. You can put as much AI as you want. If your database does not have that information, your chatbot is not going to do any better than your filtering. And here, I'm just thinking it should be an obvious ask because some of those hotels, they even claim they have swimming pool, but that will not be open between November and February or March. So as a customer, if I'm going there in December and I click the filter swimming pool, I probably don't even need to know indoor or outdoor. What I need to know is if I'm clicking swimming pool, am I going to have access to the swimming pool during my stay? That's really all I care about. Because it could be outdoor, maybe if it's heated,
Right. If it's
heated
super
or whatever.
warmed and everything else, that could work.
So it's, I mean, if you're in the hospitality industry and you welcome customers in winter as well as in summer, then your filters should adapt or get that understanding, and they are not quite there yet, and AI is not going to fix any of that, to your earlier point, if the database is not up to date. And I'm just going to add one more layer to this because I love to be annoying. I started the story by saying I'm considering 3 locations and I have to do 3 separate searches. So next time you talk to your travel agent consolidator company, tell them that there are people out there in France who would love to be able to say, I could go to either A, B, or C, but those are my criteria and my budget. Tell me what is the best option, because today I have to go watch all the pictures to see the kind of pool they have across 3 separate searches that I can compare together.
This is so interesting. Because this is the promise, which is you will be able to say, here's the 3 properties I want. Which one's the best for me? But how do you define best for me? Am I gonna, I can look at some of your history and stuff, but you almost want, yeah, I mean, what signal would you give that would be enough meat to make an AI engine go, oh, he really wants to swim in the winter? This, there's nothing that's gonna flag that unless you put that in the prompt or something like that. But they're not going to let you just write a prompt. They're going to have everything tied up, buttoned up, and just go search for you. And I don't know when they get to a point where they can handle that level. I could see them going out to every hotel's deep description of what they have and knowing whether it's an indoor and outdoor pool. I could see that. But I don't know how they would ever anticipate that you were a indoor pool guy in December other than with your query. I don't. I mean, I guess if they got to the point where we're watching what you did in searches, but
well, I would be hoping that first of all they do accept prompts, or at least it works with a question answer, like where are you thinking about going? What would be your dates, and what would be your top criteria, and what is your budget? And based on that, here are the top 10 properties I think that you would be interested in. If you help us tell me why you like this one and you don't like this one, I'm going to do even better filtering based on your initial feedback. That's how I think it should be working, because basically what are you trying to do here with AI? You're trying to mimic the human travel agent experience, right? That's how a human travel agent will help you out. So that's probably what you want to go with.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what it should be able to do is if you say, I'm looking at, I guess you could do it for I'm interested in these 3 properties, and here's the things I care about, and you put in there, I want an indoor swimming pool. There's a decent chance it would find it.
But
I
I want
don't
it broader
understand
than that, though.
hallucination, and if there isn't anything mentioned on that, it would just decide randomly whether it had one or not, whether their pool is indoor or not.
Well, two things on this. First, I would be hoping that the AI would be smart enough to tell me, in this property, I can't tell from the information I've got whether they've got what you need or not, but they've got all these other things. So you may want to give them a call or visit their website or just double confirm yourself. I would expect the AI to not bullshit me. And we've seen ChatGPT do this quite a few times in the past, where when it doesn't have the answer, it makes up
Exactly.
an answer, and that is terrible.
Yeah. And we don't totally know how to stop it from doing that
yet. Exactly. So that is the first thing. But the second thing is, I don't think I'm that. Again, maybe I'm the crazy one, but when I would go to a travel agent, and I mean a real physical one, I don't necessarily know where it is I'm going. Usually, I would tell the travel agent, look, it's cold out here. I want to have some sun. I have a budget of X dollars per person. I want to be nearby the beach, but I don't care whether you send me in California and Spain or in Greece. Just tell me what's right for me. What do you have in your portfolio that fits my needs and criteria? Online, you can't really do that. You're going to have to say, first I go in Spain, then within Spain I go around this city, and now you can help me search. But I don't want that. These are my criteria. Tell me where I should be going. That's what I'm paying a travel agent for.
Right.
And I don't get that online.
And that's what this guy was trying to do, was to recreate that. We're going to Italy pretty soon, and my friend Sally Altrocchi lived in Florence for a year. And so I said, hey, Sally, do you have any recommendations? And sure enough, she sent me this whole list of stuff and places and adventures. And how do you recreate that? Right? I mean, a good travel agent would be a Sally Altrocchi, who would, just as a friend, give you all this stuff and have all these ideas. I don't know how close we're going to get to that. To the point of why this is a CX therapy, we're a million miles from it today. No two ways about it. I do think we're going to, let me put it this way, the potential is there to get a lot closer. What's going to get in the way of it, I don't know.
I'm going to take one step back, just because AI is not that far away now. AI is here, but not every company is going to have the ability to turn their old school website into a AI-powered super machine. So I'm going to be a little bit more down to earth for most websites out there. And regardless whether you're in the travel industry or any other industry, what you probably need to do is to start looking at what is it your customers care about? And you can just ask them. If anyone from that travel agency was to ask me, what are the filters you need? Or just, observing what it is I'm doing online. What are the filters you need? What are the criteria? Just ask me this kind of question. Ask 500 of your customers. Ask as many of your customers as you want. Then you get real insights on how you should shape the customer experience and the customer journey. And that's really lacking, in my opinion.
I agree. I'm actually, this makes me hopeful. This is a case where I think AI could really make a difference. It's not just, how do I keep people away from agents more? It's more, how do I more intelligently anticipate what you want and get you there? And, if it were me and I knew I could get that kind of recommendation, I'd probably be willing to fill out a pretty long interests guide up front. Not super long, but I'd spend 5 minutes doing all of that to get something that's going to give me really, really smart recommendations, because it knows who I am.
Well, I do feel better after our conversation. I mean, AI is not going to help me with my Christmas holiday now.
No, it's not. You're going to have to call 3 hotels and ask.
So keep in touch with your friend, because I definitely want to talk to him at some point before this thing goes live. And thank you very much for your counsel, as always, Max.
Thanks. Good. Thanks for bringing a good story. That was fun.
I will talk to you next week, and until then, have a beautiful day.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.